I want to tell you about two students. They both want to improve their English. The first student studies for 3 hours every Sunday, then nothing for 6 days, then 3 hours the following Sunday, then nothing again. The second student studies for 25 minutes every single morning, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, every day, without fail. After 1 month, who has studied more? Let us calculate. The first student, 4 Sundays, 3 hours each, 12 hours total. The second student, 30 days, 25 minutes each day, 12 and a half hours total, almost the same. But here's the important difference. The second student's brain encountered English every single day, 30 times in 30 days. Each encounter reinforced the previous one. The vocabulary from Monday was still fresh on Tuesday. The grammar from Tuesday was practiced again on Wednesday. The first student's brain encountered English 4 times, with 6 days of silence between each encounter. Much of what was learned on Sunday had faded before the next Sunday arrived. Same time, very different results. This is the power of consistency, not intensity, not long sessions, not perfect studying. Daily contact, regular presence, the quiet, unglamorous habit of showing up every single day for a short time. That is what builds real English. Today's story is about a young man named Cyrus. Cyrus tried the big sessions. They did not work until he discovered the power of daily small. This is his story. Meet Cyrus. Cyrus was 27 years old. He worked at a logistics company, coordinating deliveries, managing schedules, communicating with drivers and clients. He was organized and reliable. People knew that when Cyrus said something would happen, it happened. But English, the language he needed for the international side of his company's growing business, had been resisting him for 2 years. Not for lack of trying. He tried hard, very hard. Every Saturday morning, he blocked 3 hours. He sat down with coffee, a notebook, and his English course. He studied intensively, vocabulary, grammar, listening, speaking practice. He took pages of notes. He worked until his concentration ran out, and then nothing until next Saturday. 6 days of silence. He had been doing this for 2 years. Saturday sessions. 6 days of silence. He had been doing this for 2 years. Saturday sessions. 6 days of silence. And his English, honest evaluation was barely better than when he started. He could not understand it. He was putting in the time. He was working hard. He had more notes than almost anyone he knew. But the language did not stick. Words he had studied on Saturday felt unfamiliar by Thursday. Grammar rules he had practiced carefully had grown vague by Wednesday. He was always, in some sense, starting again from close to the beginning. His colleague Petra, a woman who had learned 3 languages, finally said what she had been thinking for months. Petra said. Petra was 32 years old. She was direct and kind in equal measure. One Monday morning, she found Cyrus frustrated at his desk, looking at vocabulary he had studied on Saturday and could barely recognize. She asked what was wrong. He explained. The Saturday sessions, the forgetting, the 2 years of effort and almost no visible progress. Petra listened. Then she said, "How often do you water a plant?" Cyrus looked at her. "What? A plant? How often do you water it?" "Every few days," he said, "or it dies." "What would happen if you watered it massively once a week and then left it completely dry for 6 days? Cyrus thought about it. "It would struggle," he said. "The roots would not hold the water properly. It would dry out between sessions." Petra looked at him. "Your brain is the plant," she said. 3 hours once a week is the massive watering. 6 days of no English is the drought. The language dries out between sessions because there's nothing keeping it alive. She went back to her desk. "Water it every day," she said, "even a little, even 10 minutes, but every day." Cyrus sat with that image for the rest of the morning. The plant, the water, the drought. Lesson 1, every day is not the same as every day. Perfectly. That evening, Cyrus made a new plan. Not 3 hours on Saturday, 20 minutes every morning, before work, before the day got complicated. He felt slightly resistant to it at first. 20 minutes felt like nothing compared to his 3-hour sessions. It felt small, insufficient, like he was downgrading his effort. But he thought about the plant, and he thought about the 6-day drought. 20 minutes every day. That was the plan. He started on a Tuesday. Tuesday, 20 minutes. Wednesday, 20 minutes. Thursday, he was running late. He did 15 minutes, not 20, but something. Friday, 20 minutes. Saturday, his old instinct arrived. He wanted to do a big session. He did 25 minutes instead, close to his daily target, not the old 3 hours. Sunday, 20 minutes. 1 week, 7 days. 6 at 20 minutes, 1 at 15. He added it up, 135 minutes, just over 2 hours. Less than his old Saturday session, but spread across 7 days. 7 encounters with English. 7 mornings when his brain had touched the language before the day began. He thought about Thursday's 15 minutes. Before, missing a full Saturday session would have felt like a failure, like the week was lost. Now, 15 minutes on a difficult Thursday was a success because it was something. Because the plant had been watered even lightly, even on the hardest morning. Every day was not the same as every day perfectly. Every day was better than the best day once a week. Daily English sentences. Repeat after me. I water my English every day, even a little, even on hard days. 20 minutes every morning keeps the language alive. 15 minutes on a difficult day is still a success. Every day beats the best session once a week. My brain touches English every morning before the day begins. Small and daily is more powerful than large and occasional. I show up every day. That is the whole power of consistency. Lesson 2. What daily contact does. 2 weeks into his new routine, Cyrus noticed something. The vocabulary was staying. Not perfectly, not every single word. But words he had studied on Monday were still recognizable on Friday. Phrases he had practiced on Tuesday were available on Thursday. Before, by Wednesday, Saturday's vocabulary had begun to fade. By Friday, it was mostly gone. The brain had nothing to hold it in place. Now, Monday's vocabulary had Tuesday's session to reinforce it, and Wednesday's and Thursday's. Each day built on the day before. The learning was not isolated events separated by silence. It was a continuous thread, each morning adding a little more and confirming a little of what had been added before. He wrote in his notebook, "The language is staying now because I keep touching it every day. It does not have time to forget before I return." He thought about the 2 years of Saturday sessions, all that work, all those notes. He felt something sad and also something hopeful at the same time. Sad because so much of that effort had been wasted by the 6-day gaps. Hopeful because the same amount of time distributed differently was building something that was actually sticking. Same hours, different distribution, completely different result. He thought about Petra's plant. He was watering it every day now, and it was growing. Daily English sentences. Repeat after me. Each day reinforces the day before. That is how it sticks. Monday's vocabulary is still there on Friday. Daily contact made that happen. The learning does not fade because I return before it can. Same hours, different distribution, completely different result. I am building a continuous thread, not isolated events. The plant is growing because I water it every single day. Consistency does what intensity alone never could. Lesson 3. The morning that surprised him. 1 month into his daily routine, Cyrus had an experience at work that stopped him completely. A new international client was visiting the office. His manager was introducing the team. She reached Cyrus and said his name and his role. The client, a friendly, professional man, turned to Cyrus and asked a question, in English. A simple question about the delivery timelines the company worked with. Cyrus answered, not perfectly. He used simple language. His answer was direct and clear. The client nodded. He asked a follow-up question. Cyrus answered that too. 2 questions, 2 answers. A brief, ordinary professional exchange. When the client moved on, Cyrus's manager leaned over and said quietly, That was good. You handled that well. Cyrus went back to his desk. He thought about the exchange. He had not prepared for it. There had been no Saturday session to prepare from, no 3 hours of intensive study to draw on, just 1 month of 20-minute mornings. And the English had been there, available, ready. Not perfect, but present and functional. He thought about the vocabulary that had been staying, about the continuous thread, about the language that was no longer fading between sessions because there were no gaps for it to fade into. 1 month of daily small had produced this, not a dramatic transformation, not suddenly fluent, just present when needed. He wrote in his notebook, did not prepare for the client exchange. The English was just there. 1 month of every morning built that. Daily English sentences. Repeat after me. I did not prepare for this. The English was just there. 1 month of daily small built real availability. My English is present when I need it because I keep it present, not perfect. Present and functional. That is enough. My manager says I handled it well. 1 month of mornings earned that. Daily consistency builds availability. Big sessions do not. The language is no longer fading because I never let it go cold. Lesson 4. 6 months. The difference. 6 months after switching from Saturday sessions to daily mornings, Cyrus sat at his desk and thought about the difference. His English was genuinely, noticeably better. Not transformed overnight, not suddenly fluent, but measurably, visibly, undeniably further along than 2 years of Saturday sessions had taken him. He had handled 6 international client calls in those 6 months, 3 emails to foreign suppliers, several short conversations with visiting partners, none perfect, all functional, all growing. He thought about what had changed, not the amount of time. He was studying roughly the same total hours as before, maybe slightly less. What had changed was the distribution, daily contact instead of weekly flooding and drought, and something else had changed too, something he had not expected. His relationship with the learning itself. The Saturday sessions had felt like events, like something he had to prepare for, commit large blocks of time to, recover from. Heavy. The daily 20 minutes felt like part of his day, like brushing his teeth, like something he just did, not something he had to summon willpower to do. The habit had become automatic, comfortable, natural, and natural habits continue, even when motivation is low, even when life is busy, even when everything else competes for attention. He told Petra. She listened and smiled. The plant is healthy, she said. The plant is healthy, he agreed. Daily English sentences. Repeat after me. 6 months of daily small built what 2 years of weekly big could not. Same total time, different distribution, completely different result. Daily habits become automatic. That is their greatest power. The learning feels like part of my day now, not an event. Natural habits continue even when motivation is low. 6 international calls, 3 emails, all functional, all growing. The plant is healthy because I water it every single day. Final words, show up every day. Cyrus's story is simple. He was working hard, really hard, 3-hour sessions every Saturday, 2 years of effort, but the distribution was wrong. 6 days of silence between every session. The plant was flooding and drying and flooding and drying, and nothing was sticking. One conversation with Petra changed everything. 20 minutes every morning, every day. Not impressive, not dramatic, not the kind of studying that feels heroic, just present, daily, consistent. And 6 months later, a completely different English, available when needed, growing steadily, feeling natural rather than effortful. Maybe you are a weekend studier or a sometimes studier, someone who does big sessions occasionally and then nothing for days. I want to suggest one change, not more time, just different distribution. Find 20 minutes tomorrow morning, before work, before the day fills up, before anything else. Study English for 20 minutes. And the next morning, 20 more. And the morning after, 20 more. Not forever, just tomorrow and then tomorrow again. because consistency, daily, small, unglamorous consistency, is the most powerful force in language learning. Not intensity, not perfect sessions, not 3 hours once a week, 20 minutes, every day. The plant watered daily grows into something you cannot believe started as a seed. See you in the next one. Stay calm, stay consistent, and show up every single day.